Hi, in this lesson we're going to learn how to set up a theme for a new Scribe project. So let's start by creating a new Scribe. By default, VideoScribe is set up to create whiteboard animation videos. So you can see the canvas is white, and if we add an image here quickly and hit preview, you'll see that by default all the elements you add to the canvas will be drawn with this default hand. This is great if this is the style of video you're looking for, but we can easily make a few changes to set up different themes. The first option we have is the canvas background here. So first of all, we can select the colour of the background here. We can select one of these colours from the available palette, or we can type in a hex code here. So for example, you could select one of your brand colours, or use a colour that fits the topic or mood of your video. Next, we have these background textures here. This one, for example, makes a good chalkboard if you use it with a dark grey. And there are also a few different paper textures, like this parchment here. Let's try this corkboard one here. You can also select a hard or soft vignette, which gives this sort of effect where you can see it getting darker towards the outside. So you can see this already gives your video a different feel. The next video we're going to be creating for this course is about healthy living, so I'm going to choose this light blue colour with no vignette and no texture. The next option you have is the type of hand, which we can change here. This first one is the default hand, which we've already seen, but we can select from a range of options here. Notice this one, no hand. This creates a really cool effect where the images appear to draw themselves. So you might want to use this as your main hand for your Scribe, or you could use it for specific effects within your Scribe, as we'll see later. Another option is to use a freestanding pen without a hand. And under this you can see a list of names. For each person you will find a set of hands using different types of pens, including chalk here. There are also some hands without pens, which are useful for things like move-ins, which we'll see later on. And there's even a hand holding an eraser, which can be used when you want to erase an image or text as part of your video. Again, we'll be using this later. You can see we have male and female hands, as well as a range of skin tones. I'm going to use this set here for my video, so for now we need to select the main hand we want to use for most of the Scribe. Maybe this one. We'll then be able to change the hand for specific elements later on if we need to. In most cases it makes sense to stick with the hands from the same set for a particular video for consistency. So let's select this one and preview to see what it looks like. Now this hand will be used for all the new elements I add, unless I choose to overwrite it. Okay, I'm just going to delete this image here now. As well as changing the background colour and texture, you can also use images to create a background. One easy way to do this is to go to the scenery folder and select a background image for each of your scenes. For example, we might want to start with a beach scene. We can enlarge this to fill the background. I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can make sure it fills the whole screen at 100% zoom. It's a good idea once you've positioned your background image to go to the timeline and use this icon to lock the element. This means we won't be able to select it by mistake or move it accidentally. And then we can place our other elements on top of this to build our scene. You can use any image as a background. Try searching for backgrounds to see what's available. Or you could import your own image. You can even use a photo. Also remember that it doesn't necessarily need to be a single image. You could build up your background using a number of images. So for example, you can see that in this template we created, we used a background colour and texture here, and we've added these images around the edge and then this blank piece of paper in the middle. Remember, if you want the background to already be there from the start of your video, you'll need to select each of the background elements and then change all 3 timing settings to 0. You can see here that we've done this for the first few elements in this template. The background will then all appear already in position from the first frame of your video, rather than being drawn first. The other important components that go to make up your theme are the fonts, images and colours you select for your video. We'll be looking at these later on in the course, but you can see here that we've chosen specific images, fonts and colours to create a fun theme for young school children. And we also used a child's hand holding a crayon. So going back to our new project, I'm going to select this background image and I'm going to make it nice and big. So I'm going to zoom out to about 30% and then fill most of the screen, so that when I zoom back into 100%, I'll have lots of space to create my scribe on top of it. Next I'm going to set all the timings to 0 for this element on the timeline. And I'm going to lock this image in place. So now I can move around the canvas without selecting or moving the background image. The last thing I need to do here is save this new project. And I'm going to call it Healthy Living. So that's it for this lesson. We've looked at how you can set up your theme using hands and backgrounds, and we've also now completed this section of the course on planning and setting up your project. Don't forget you can download the storyboard template to use when planning your projects, and you can also download the Scribe file for this example project we've created so far.